Thanks for tuning in. We're Julie and Dana, two moms navigating marriage and motherhood. But this is definitely not your mom's podcast.
Hey guys, it's Julie.
And Dana, this is Not Your Mom's Podcast.
Welcome.
All right, start us off.
Start us off. I thought to myself, I think there are actually guys out there or women or whatever, whoever you're in a relationship with.
Yeah.
I think that some people don't bring like sex toys and fun things to the bedrooms because they're bedrooms, multiple, plural, different
could have
bedrooms in the
multiple.
house. I know. Because they think their partner is going to get like offended by that. I'm mainly thinking like a guy, like
Yeah,
don't know.
guy's ego.
a guy's
bigger.
ego
Uh-huh.
over a vibrator, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like,
Yeah, like
do you
is
think
it-
that's common?
I don't know, but that's a good question. I would actually like to know if that is common. I think that it exists. I do agree with you. I think it exists, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's strange, though. I think that...
the reason why I'm saying it is because back in the day when I was in my 20s, like the guy I dated, he didn't want me using that.
Interesting.
I know.
Like with him and without him? Like he didn't
Without
want
him.
it?
He wanted me to use him as his first choice.
Okay. And
I'm like, listen, you cannot move your face and your tongue and everything as fast as that thing can go. And sometimes
it's
you
just different. It's
Yeah.
not even like a competition. It's
yeah, I'm not
totally
trying to.
different.
And like, we all pick a real human usually when you want something.
This goes back to our AI robot dolls.
Yeah,
Would you
right,
pick an
thanks.
AI robot?
Yeah, exactly.
Or a
Eventually,
person?
I'm not saying, I mean, there's probably like a period of time where women are like, nope, I know what I'm getting out of this thing versus
Right.
a man. And they all go through a period of season, but
Right, and they can
Yeah.
serve different purposes.
serve different purposes. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm sure that there are men that are like insecure with that. I think that's an insecurity. Obviously, that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's like I can't provide for you that. Like, who
Yeah, but where's
cares?
like the compersion in the sense of like, oh man, like you're having fun with that. Like,
right?
you know,
Yeah,
like get it.
yes.
Instead of, oh, we, like, I don't know, being offended by that.
yeah, it is weird. I'm curious. I wonder.
And like, when do you like whip it out? Like when you're in your first like deal relationship, like when does it become common? Like when you're like, hey, let's have fun with this now, or whatever. Like at what point?
Right, it's not gonna be like your first time that you rip that out. Usually, I guess some people would.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Trevor and I
what
were real
point do
comfortable,
you-
but we were also later in the game, like in age. So like,
So I think that's a big difference. What you just said there. I think that you're like early 20s versus your
Yeah.
late 20s versus your 30s versus your 40s. Like I
Yes.
think it's probably all different, and the way men feel about it is probably different, and the way
Yeah.
that you feel comfortable bringing it out is probably different,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so.
I think that like overall, I think we are just more insecure with ourselves in our 20s and more insecure with sex
Yeah.
in our 20s. Like I think that's
We
why
don't
people
really
say like
know.
sex gets better as you get older. I don't think it's that the sex is getting better. I think it's that like your comfort level, your
Mhm.
ability to explore things, your openness, that all gets better, which
Yeah.
makes sex better. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
You're just more comfortable with yourself. You know what you want.
Yeah, you know what you like,
You've had
you know
more
you don't like.
experiences
Yeah.
to be like, okay, that was not good,
Right.
and this is.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. I think that that's really what it comes down to. I bet you that if you were to like poll that, like
yeah, like how many young 20-year-olds are really using
I think they're using, but I think like if you were to pull
with their
men,
partners? Oh,
like, are you comfortable with your
Oh.
significant other using this? I bet you you would see as the age progresses, the number of people comfortable with it progresses.
but maybe we're also just in a whole nother generation where they don't freaking care. They're
That could
probably
be it,
like,
too.
yeah, because everything's online now. and
Seriously,
stuff,
get
so,
rid of
like,
your egos. You'll have more fun. Ugh.
women too.
Everybody.
Yeah, like women too need to like also get rid of our egos that we have to be like the be all end all to every fantasy and everything that's ever happened.
Yeah.
It's like we're allowed to open our minds, and that's what fantasies and sexual desires are for. You know, it doesn't always have to come from like the one source.
Yes, so true. And like women can have fantasies too. It doesn't have to just be the man. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Well,
totally.
both ways. Yeah,
Totally.
but yes, I meant the pressure that yes to that, but I meant the pressure we put on ourselves
Yeah.
to be hot, sexy.
Oh, yes.
any
Not
of the-
aging.
not any aging, like
Ugh.
trying to compare ourselves to what they think is hot, like on porn or
You know
when
what's
they
funny,
scroll
though?
or whatever.
I also think we put ideas in our own head because
Yeah.
I was talking to John the other day, and he actually finds like aging hot. Like not talking like old ladies, but like he was like
John, come in here
I
and have
know.
a conversation with me.
he actually said that.
Tell
He's
me.
like, I find you hotter now. Like I think that
Aw.
like the aging process is like it's like a different. I don't know. You come in with more confidence. You come in with
oh
more
yeah,
maturity.
there
You
is
come in
definitely
with
a
more.
confidence.
you
Can I
know?
tell you how many like guys that like I've known or whatever, like yeah, definitely when some woman has like her shit together and she's like older and
Yeah.
whatever. Like that is way more sexy.
I can
hot, and
promise you
confident.
that these guys are not looking and being like, "Wow, look at those wrinkles in her 11s." Like, no.
I know.
You know, I think we put a lot of it in our own head. Like, so is it really that like men are not like, and I don't want the 20-year-old men to find me attractive. I can care less about them now. You know
feel
what I
like
mean?
They won't know what they're doing.
No.
Right? There's no way. Even
Did you
10
see that
years younger
girl?
than me, I'm kind of like, I still don't know if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not only that, the years that I've had with my husband are like, we've been able to work
Oh, yeah. Well, that's different. Yeah.
you know, or whatever it is with your relationship. It's like that comfort level and that vulnerability and that openness is like a whole nother angle that you can't just, I don't know.
But like, say you were single, right?
Okay.
Tomorrow you're single. Like, would you really want to date a 25-year-old? That's like a child to
No.
me.
No.
There's nothing like, ugh.
I mean, but maybe there's an exception to the rule. Like maybe they're
Sure.
a mature 25-year-old.
Sure.
I'm not going to say no to like all of them.
Regardless, though, I would say overall, chances are I would not be like
Should
if I
we
was to
bring
put on a
out
dating.
10 25-year-olds and wonder.
Yes, but like if you were to go on a dating app, like would you put 25 as your like?
No.
Like it wouldn't even be on your like. I'm not saying maybe you'd
No.
meet someone, whatever, but like chances are you wouldn't be looking for that. So it's like, why do you care what like younger guys are gonna think? Like, no, I want to know what the 30 and 40-year-old men are gonna think.
I wonder right now if like the guys, like our husband age guys, if they were to go on an app, what they would put down for their.
Hey, Trevor and John. Let's ask them.
Let's ask them.
We have a question.
This is them walking up the stairs right now.
We'll hold until they get up here. That's a really good question.
Oh my God, they're totally not going to tell us the truth, Dana.
You don't think so?
No.
I want to know the truth.
think they're
I'm not
gonna
gonna
lie.
care. I want to know the
But
truth.
what would you put? Okay, so if you were single, what? Oh yeah, this is great. Like talk about like dating apps in general. Like, how come is it that we think that we want?
Okay,
the
we have a
same
question for
re-
you guys. Okay, you go on a dating app
Let's
tomorrow.
say you're single.
You have to be totally honest right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You go on a dating app tomorrow. What's your age range for women?
That you're putting down for bracket for your da-da-da. I know what Trevor's gonna say. He's not gonna say it in front of me. I just told her
say
that.
it. Just be
say it.
honest.
We were.
What would
honest
you
with
put?
ours.
What's the youngest?
Like probably 30.
30's the youngest you'd go. What's the oldest you'd go? Generally speaking, I know there's gonna be like exceptions.
Oh, maybe like 40.
Okay.
45.
Okay.
Like I probably would go older than 45.
I kind of thought that he was gonna say that. We were just saying. I was like, I wouldn't put 25 down. Like, there's no way in hell
For us, like as boys,
For men.
for men.
Okay, what'd you put?
I mean, I feel really on the spot.
Be honest.
I-
I'm getting mad.
I
Just
know.
say it.
He's always told me he doesn't think like age is an
And I
issue.
get it. I think there's exceptions to the rules, but I'm just saying
Well,
generally
I'm definitely
speaking.
gonna come back with a female age and an older man age because like sometimes those younger
different.
females
Females
haven't
are
had
different.
that experience of being with someone older and mature and kind of has their shit together.
Like, what
It's like-
kind of dating are we talking?
Like you're single and you're looking for dating.
Yeah, you're still on a dating app.
I'm
Like
not
the
talking about
fir-
like
when
a
you
one
sign
like a
up.
one nighter.
Okay, but okay. I'd say if I was looking for a partner,
Yeah.
probably starting around 30.
Okay.
If I was like trying to like,
We were trying
That's
to say
still
like
so-
do
casually date, I might say 25.
okay. Because it came from the conversation that we were saying that I
Yeah.
think it's in our heads that because you were saying like we try to stop ourselves from aging, but like
oh yeah,
do men even care? And I was like, John always says he thinks aging is like hot, like it's fine, like you think it's hotter now than like when I was in my 20s.
Well, I'm aging too.
Right. I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. But why would we care? Because like
You
I
just
wouldn't
said
want
I'm
some
aging
20-year-old
too.
boy anyway.
yeah. I feel like they wouldn't know what they're doing.
Well, for me-
Whoever's gonna find me old, like go fuck
for
off.
me, it's not like if it's just for if it's
They're getting too deep.
well, no, if it's for a relationship, I'm more worried about like we're not gonna have much in common. If I go too
Yeah.
young,
Right.
we're not gonna understand like where I am with life, having kids, like
Yeah.
having things in common.
Yeah.
That's where if it's just for looks,
Then hey, it's all game
Bye.
then
Whatever.
on.
but I didn't get my upper end.
What's the other one?
Oh yeah. How old would you go?
Well, I'm 44.
Yeah.
I mean,
I man, I sound like a fuck, but like maybe like 50.
yeah, that's true.
I don't
'cause,
even
like,
believe
60 is
that.
a big
I
difference.
I think you would just put 40 or 45. I don't think you'd go up to 50.
Oh yeah, I would. I'm not that. That's not that far off from me.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, but I hear you because
So
there
I
is a
got
big
25 to
difference.
50, I got a nice good range.
That's a big
That's a lot of big
range.
That's a lot
I
of
mean,
big
You
yeah.
got a whole
My-
quarter century.
My pool is full. All right, get back to my pool.
No,
My
I think
God.
I didn't even give you an upper range. What's your upper range?
Let's see. I'm 42.
I think the highest I'd go is 45.
I'm 42, so I'd say 50.
Yeah, 50's too old for me.
Yeah, I don't know though. I don't know if it was like right now and
Unless they got money, then I might consider.
I had kids and stuff like that. Like right now,
Yeah.
like, oof, maybe 48.
Yeah.
But 50's a little old, right?
50 feels older to me. However, I look at like my parents and I'm like, my dad doesn't seem old, but like I wouldn't want to. It's too close to my dad's
Yeah,
age.
your parents are really young, so
Yeah.
yeah. I
I'm
guess
giving
I
you an
would say-
idea of what 53 could look like.
Right,
Like it seems too off for me.
right.
I think 45 would be like really my highest.
Yeah, and for me, since I'm 42, I think 50 or 48 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'd leave it to 50, but I don't know if I'd choose everyone. I'd let all
Again,
the-
though, if you have like a yacht and a jet, I may reconsider that higher.
Depends on what kind of
age.
dating it is, right? If we're
Yes.
all just having fun and stuff, yeah,
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh,
But
so
like, yeah,
funny.
I wanted to go back to like, I think the like, just because you and I haven't been on like a dating app in a long time, like what people putting down that's important, like. I love that we're all like, we put down what religion we want them to be. We would put down what political views we want them to be, their height, the location and stuff. It's like when it comes to sort of like love, like that doesn't, none of that even makes sense. Like the people that you have the best chemistry sometimes are everything opposite from what you'd ever think.
I guess functionality.
But like, I think there's also a difference between love is like, there's two different kinds of not two different kinds of love. It's so broad, but like there's someone you want to build a life with usually. And then there's someone that you have like excellent chemistry with, and not both of them always
That's what I was going to say.
intermingle. You're not always lucky to find that person that you have like chemistry with and you want to build a life with. It's usually
The building the life needs functionality, which is
Right.
why if you are super, I mean, I could care less about what your religion is.
yeah,
Although I will say, if I'm not religious, so if you were super religious and I had to go to church every Sunday and all these things, I don't know
but
that I
maybe
can
that
handle
person
that.
wouldn't make you go to church. They would just be
Well,
like, I believe you.
but I think that's why
or
it's
believe
important
me
to
in-
write it, because if you're writing it, it's probably very important to you.
Well, maybe they just want people to know,
Yeah, I guess so.
putting it out there.
I guess so. For me, I just wouldn't care.
Yeah,
So like I wouldn't care what religion someone else was, and I wouldn't care about my religion. But if religion was super, super important to someone, that may be a deal breaker for me.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and like politics, like I think you could totally have differences in politics for sure. But there are certain people that are so far on one side
Yeah.
that there is no in between for them. That they're like, I will not date anyone that has a different view than me because I feel like that makes them a bad person, which is stupid, but you know what I mean.
I think if I went on a dating app, I'd leave everything empty to be an asshole, and they'd have to figure it out. I mean, that's the whole point
I
of
feel like
dating.
the only thing important is like some core, you know what, like what you were talking about in therapy, like your core important things, because if those things aren't met, you're not going to be happy. Like, okay,
Yeah,
for
we
example,
think that's what we want, but then when we meet the right person, none of that matters.
you don't think that matters? Like, okay, let's say like if you are,
I mean, I
you
feel
really-
like when you meet them, you'll kind of figure out the gist, and that probably wouldn't line up anyway.
I guess it's about not wasting your time beforehand.
Yeah, I guess that's what the dating app's for,
You
right?
know, like it's kind of sifting through people, because if you absolutely know like you have a deal breaker on the line, why meet someone who that deal breaker is going to break the
Well, I
deal?
wonder how many people thought that they were one way, and then once they met the person that they're with now and everything's working out great, actually changed
Oh yeah, and I think that's possible.
being with them.
Yeah.
And so it's like you could say, I
Depends
don't
how
want this
stubborn you are.
religion, I don't want this political view. But what if you, like back in the day when they didn't have dating apps and you met someone, you fell in love, and then
Yeah.
they sort of like opened your eyes to
Yeah.
some things, and or you opened their eyes for them.
That's probably the beauty of meeting in person.
I know.
That ability to like not know all of the things first. Like now we can stalk them before we even meet them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering how much this is helping relationships to get a lot of that out of the way on dating apps and
Mhm.
being able to see everything online, or the old fashioned way where you just like met someone at a bar.
Probably a mixture. It's
Yeah.
probably like pros and cons to it.
I
you
know. I'm wondering, like,
I don't know. I don't even know what I would put on my app. Like seeking, like what I
I know.
would
I hate
seek.
that you have to have like this bio that's like
Yeah.
fun person that likes to garden and do art and yoga, namaste, or some shit. Like, what do I put in my bio that describes me? Because you know
It
what?
gives me anxiety.
One
It's like
day
telling
I'm like
the
a
class-
gothic girl that wants to like hermit in her house and like
Yeah.
channel all the gods all over the world. And the other day I'm like, let's do Easter baskets for the kids and like hide Easter eggs and be like domesticated with my family. And then another day I'm like, whatever, peace and love. Let's have more than one boyfriend and girlfriend and like start a commune. I mean, like I'm different every day, so I can't sum up myself.
I know.
Like, I cannot put in that bio in three sentences
No.
my entire life's work. Like, go fuck yourself. I can't do that.
No. And
This
it
that
stresses me
your
out.
job is to date me and figure
Figure it
out if
out.
we work or
Yeah.
not. Like, I can't put it out there. Like,
Yeah.
and my pictures, the 3 profile pictures are like the best that I can ever look. Like, that's fucking weird too. You need to see all angles of my
Oh
face.
my God.
And when
we
I
should,
do weird
they
facial
should
music,
have a dating website that's like that where you have to put one and it knows like AI can figure it out. No filters, no makeup, no nothing. And then one like you could put like all done up. Like
yep.
that'd be funny.
When I met Trevor, and we met for the first time, I purposely wore my glasses, no makeup, my hair up in a ponytail, and I was like in a t-shirt and shorts or something. Because I
Mhm.
wanted, but before all that in my young 20s, I was doing like going out a lot,
Yeah.
doing some like modeling stuff, and I definitely felt like the people I chose, it was like more of like it was what I was putting out there. My mom even said
Sure,
that she's
yeah.
like, well, like on your Facebook profile, you have like a bunch of your like modeling stuff. So
Right.
like, who do you expect that you're
Attracting.
bringing in? Yeah, and I'm like, they don't love me for me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this time I'm doing it different. I'm telling him everything I've ever done in life. And then I'm also going to be like really real.
I like that though. That's
and then
a good
I want a
starting
facelift,
foundation.
so that's not real either.
Yeah, but he's been with you long enough now. He proved himself.
He proved himself. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
But let's talk about like, okay, so why would you be on a dating app? I guess if you're like newly divorced or something, like because you found out your husband or wife were cheating on you. How would you handle cheating now, being older? She's not that old. But being older, being where you are now as opposed to finding out cheating in your 20s or like being in marriage for like 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
as opposed to now.
God, it's such a tough question.
I know.
So I mean,
But what have you learned? Like, what's changed?
okay, well, like,
Doesn't mean like this is what you do because actually no one knows what they're
you don't
going
know
to
what you
do
would do
in
in the
that
scenario.
traumatic
You're right,
situation.
you're right.
But
so back
have
in
you
the day,
matured in
me
a way?
for sure would have like, oh man, back in the day, me would have flipped my shit.
would have been like psycho crazy.
I was like a super insecure person, and I was super jealous, and
Me
I
too.
definitely was very different. Now I kind of feel like, truthfully, I'm confident in myself enough that I'm like, if you want to lie and cheat and do all that, like, I'm not gonna be searching your phone. I'm not gonna be looking through
Yeah.
stuff. Like, honestly, like, I'll figure myself out after. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think I don't know that I'd come back from it. I guess it really depends on scenarios.
I guess
There's a
I
few
mean, like,
scenarios
if you
here.
feel like your trust was broken, do you try to work on that in your marriage and go to therapy, or do you say like you lied to me that one time, my trust is broken, I'll never be able to forgive you, and it's divorce? Like
I think there's a
automatically?
few scenarios here.
Okay.
I think that the context matters.
Yeah.
If he was having a relationship with someone else behind my back, like a full on, like
Yeah.
he, lying to me all the
Talking about
time.
a one-time deal.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that to me is like a done deal. Like I would never be able to trust him again. It would be over. If this was like a one-time mistake, I don't know how I would react truly. Like I really don't.
Like in
but
the moment, yeah.
I think that there would be I don't know that it would 100% be done. Like maybe I would be
Yeah.
able to work through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely want to know like
And like, did he come clean
why
to me or
and,
did I
like-
find out on my own? That makes a big difference too.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
there's like a lot of context there.
And yeah, would they be willing to go to like therapy? And
Yeah,
try to figure out
yeah,
like
yeah.
why and
There's context there.
am I
But
getting
for
a
me,
get
it's
out
the
of jail free
lying.
card too then?
What is that? Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
And I think that would I think I wouldn't I think being older now and being like a little bit longer in the relationship, not longer than you, just saying we've been
Yeah.
in a time clump for now. I think that I would give a little bit more wiggle room now than I definitely would have back in the day. Back in the day, I would have
Yeah.
been like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill
I'm gonna
you.
come after
And I'm gonna
you.
revenge and sleep
I'm
with
gonna
everyone.
chop your off. Yeah, and then I'm gonna sleep with your best friend. I'm gonna make you suffer. And I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, but I was like crazy in my early
I think we
teens
all
like that.
were like that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'd be like, yeah, well, I'm pregnant with your baby or something. I'm pregnant with your best friend's baby. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my
Um,
god.
But I
Yeah.
definitely I feel like the first thing I'd be like is, okay, wow, I didn't see that coming. Or maybe I would have been like, oh yeah, well, maybe I did see that coming.
Yeah.
I've been distant. I've been going through my own depressive shit. We haven't been able to connect in a long time. Okay, wow. Okay. And I wouldn't say it was my fault, but I would try to reflect as much as I can where I was, where
Yeah.
he was, where we were, and like just try to stay open and like listen, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I would be a
Yeah,
turmoil
you're
of
gonna have
emotions
emotions for
still,
sure.
but
But I think it all boils down to it's the lying. It's
yeah.
the
But why did
behind-
they feel like they needed to lie? It's not like we'd be
Mhm.
okay with it though, Dana. Like who's okay with them saying, I got needs and this person seems I'm sexually attracted to and I have this desire to fuck them. Would you be okay with me doing that one night?
Well, I think there are couples that are okay with that.
I know, but would you be? That's what I'm saying. Like, I think most people can't do that and they feel like they have to cheat and lie
Yeah, I
because
agree with
they're
that.
not able to approach their marriage.
I
like
would rather
that.
have that conversation, and then we can decide together. If I am okay with it, then we can do that. If I'm not okay with it, then we know that we're not going to work, because
Yeah.
that
Why
that
do you feel like
feeling
you
is
need to
never
do
going to
that?
go away.
Yeah.
Like, if they feel like they need some other type of need met or some other type of exploration, like,
Mhm.
that's going to stay there. So we might as well have the conversation beforehand,
Yeah.
and together you decide if that's for you or not.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And then if it's not, then you decide. At least then there wasn't an ending. At least then there was an ending. If you decided to end your relationship, the ending came from you both agreeing on it and
Yeah.
you both deciding it, and it wasn't behind the back, sneaking around, this
Right.
and that. Like, that's the part that would bother. That's the entire part that would bother
Oh, yeah.
me.
I think that's the part everyone feels like
Yeah. It's a terrible
would be.
feeling.
Well, I don't know. Some people, I guess, really don't like the idea that you had sex with somebody else.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
it means
it's-
like you're
it's a whole-
tainted or something
It's
like
a
that.
whole
I don't
thing.
know, but
It's a whole thing. And I see it all. But I'm just saying, like, I think that a big portion of it, I think
yeah.
a big portion of that comes from the hiding. But I also think that there are people that enjoy that part of it.
Oh, being sneaky little
Yes.
fucks?
I don't know that cheating is always to be with someone else as much as I think
Trying
there
to
are
get away
people
with
who
it.
enjoy that. Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole nother level
Yeah.
that
I definitely think that exists.
oh, wow. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I don't want some sneaky bitch.
There's this girl I follow online. Her TikTok is like committed. Oh my God, what is it? Something, I wish I could find it. But she's in a I guess it's a polygamous relationship. I don't know if that's what it's called, non-monogamous. But she is dating. So her and her husband had this conversation because I think it did come from cheating at first.
Mm.
And it's really interesting hearing her side of it. And she was like, we decided that we just wanted to talk about it and stuff.
Mhm.
And so now, like, they have kids and she has a boyfriend, and people online hate on her, but
I
she
know.
speaks on it.
Yeah, at
And
least she's brave to speak on it.
She
I
has
do
a
think there
serious
can be-
boyfriend. Like, they've been together for a while. And like,
Yeah.
so what she'll do is, like, the kids never met. Like, there's
Yeah.
no, they're not together as a family, but like her and the boyfriend will go away together for like a week.
Yeah.
And people in the comments, oh my God, she was in like Hawaii with him like a few months ago. And
Okay.
people were like, you left your fucking kids behind to like go blah, blah. And she was like, no one would say that if it was me and my husband getting
Yeah.
away. Like, it's funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a whole, I think there's another world out there that's evolving into something other than just what society has made us believe, which is like you find one person and you
Mhm.
get married and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? So I think
Well,
now
I think you
people are-
also have like the swinger cruises and it's like not as serious, and people are like view it as like just a joke, because you see so many of these, like, there was all these famous TikTok swingers like a year ago, and all of them ended up like ending up leaving each other's spouses and getting, it was like
Right.
such a hot mess that you like can't turn away from.
Oh,
And it's like it probably makes it all seem like so
Yeah.
messy.
I think that it can definitely be messy, but I
For
still
sure.
think there's just a small percentage of people that have whatever works for them, right?
Everyone can make like, there's always percentage of people that can make different things work.
Yeah.
Everyone's
So
gonna have
whatever
different-
works for you. I just think the people's opinions about what she does with her time
Yeah.
is funny, but I guess she's putting it out there to be commented on. And maybe she's
She
inspiring other people
wants to
that
do it for
want-
that reason.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Like,
what I
she kind
mean.
of feels like, I could take the heat. I'm confident in what we're doing. It works for my family. So like,
Yeah.
go ahead, comment away.
I love
Also,
that.
she's probably making
actually.
money off of it.
That's true. Oh my God, what a good idea, Dana. Maybe we should pretend like
Oh
we're
my
gonna do
gosh.
this.
We
And
should.
just so we can like talk
the
about it.
comments. We
Yeah.
could even talk about like we're becoming a co-family.
Yeah.
Um
And going on that, but
so the other thing I was gonna say, I'm trying to see if I can find. I wanted to show you it, but whatever. The other thing I was gonna say with all that is, do you think that cheating is on the rise, or do you just think that it is more like people are finding out easier because of like all the technology?
I don't know if they're finding out easier. I mean, I have no idea how to analyze what I'm thinking. I think that, especially in like bigger cities, open and non-monogamy and people accepting swingers and all that kind of stuff is like more on the uprise than ever in the last few years. So I guess I think it gives people less of a desire to cheat if people are getting it. Let's say you are cheating, like there's therapy now more available than ever, like Zooming and everything, right? So I don't know. I think it's maybe not.
It's easier. Well, I think it's easier to cheat today than it would have been though, like 25, 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
because you don't actually have to like you literally have like your phone and you can like be talking
Yeah,
to
true.
people. You have like
I
apps.
don't know, like I'm sure it's still going on, but like I feel like back in the day, like that was it. You got married really young and had children, and you kind of just that's life.
Yeah,
But now
where
people
divorce
are
is more accepted.
sleeping around more way before getting married and having kids.
Mhm.
They're focusing sort of on their career. They're dating. They're not taking it as so maybe don't feel like maybe that desire as much, and
Yeah.
some and
I guess it's like I
relationships
mean,
are just
we do
different.
all have to find ways if we're going to be with the same person to keep growing together because
I
it's
know.
like I mean, how are you going to be the same person in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s? Like
Yeah. And there's like we always talk about our seasons. There's different seasons where you are on top of your game, you're feeling good about
Yeah.
yourself, and then there's a season where you're kind of in a rut and you don't feel good. Maybe you've put on weight or you just had children or you're in your 50s and you and your husband have done like everything you could possibly think of sexually. You know what I mean? And you're kind of like, I've had sex with you for like the last like 30 years.
Yeah.
Do we bring in someone else to spice things up? I mean, there's just so many
Yeah.
there's just so many seasons, years, options like to
Yeah, which is why people
navigate
probably
through.
start cheating. Well, anyway, I think moral of the story is I definitely think that like there's I don't know. There's not a realm in my mind where I think at this point in my life cheating is acceptable. I
Yeah.
think there's other ways to go around it. Like
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
conversations, deciding what's right for you guys. I mean, there's so many options. I just don't think the lying in the behind the back needs to happen. But
Yeah.
like you said, I think I would react differently today than I would 10 years ago.
I think so too. And I also think where Trevor and I are at, if I found out he was cheating, I'd be really disappointed with where we're at in our marriage
Right.
and our
Like, why'd
honesty
you
and
feel
our
like that?
communication because
Yeah.
I feel like he can bring me anything. And while it might like put a pit in my stomach at first, I would definitely have listening ears and be like, okay, let's talk about like what do we do with this information? Because
Yeah.
we talk about everything day and night all the time.
Yeah.
And so because he's like, my best friend and everything,
Yeah.
I would feel like, whoa, okay. Why didn't we at least talk about this first?
Right.
Like, because I'm not saying no,
Right.
if
Right.
that's really important to you, like, I'm not saying yes, but not saying no. So, like, let's talk about this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Conversations are everything. It's the only way you're going to get through all of life.
I just think that, like, almost 100% of the time, if you were to be like, I feel like I want to sleep with someone else, your significant other's gonna be like, go fuck off. So,
Totally. But at least they have the option to say that. At least you're
Yeah.
giving them the option to decide that. Because at the end of the day, what's the alternative? You're going to cheat on them and they're going to find out eventually anyway.
yeah.
So then they're going to say, go fuck off. And it's going to be like, go fuck off. I'm going to burn your house down now.
I know. Oh my gosh.
So
Well-
I think that there needs to, I hope that we move to a place where I think people are more like open to communication now. I think it
Yeah.
used to be like back in the day, the husband would do whatever the fuck he wanted and
I
the woman
know.
had to just deal with
I
it.
know.
And I would love to know, honestly, I wish that we had polls. I want polls
Yeah.
for everything.
I know, me
But
too.
I want to know, like,
I want people's
how many
opinion.
relationships, and I'm talking like not even found out, like I'm talking like in general, how many people do you think out of everyone we know, like how many people do you think have cheated on their spouse?
Oh wow. I think it's common.
Me too. Like, do you think out of like I'm just talking like in our little world, right? Like, do you think out of like all of us, like everyone we know, do you think there's been like at least like half the
You mean the
couples?
person that had the affair or the one that's been cheated on?
Any of it.
Oh,
No,
just-
but I'm talking about like in the relationship they're in now. I'm not talking about like past. I'm not talking about dating. I'm talking about like in their marriage currently. How many people have either cheated or been cheated on within that marriage? I would love the answer to that.
Me
I bet
too.
you it's at least half.
And we have to define what's cheating too.
I'm going to go out on and say
Like
like
full-blown
all
sleeping,
things.
yeah.
No, I'm going to say
Oh.
all things. I'm going to say like
Even sexting?
I'm going to say anything that involves the other person not knowing.
Not knowing.
Yeah.
I feel like sexting's so dumb.
It's so stupid.
I mean, like if I found out Trevor was sexting, I'd be like, please.
like stop.
Like, please.
But seriously,
But like there's that outlet though that need to be, I guess, naughty or something online.
yeah, I'm talking about anything. Anything
Yeah.
from I'm not talking like watching porn and stuff. I'm talking
Well, how
about like
come that's
actual
acceptable, but sexting isn't? It's the same fucking thing.
Well, I guess cuz sexting would be with like a person that you're interested in.
Yeah, but if that
I'm not
never,
talking about, like,
if that never
sexting with,
went
like-
to anything and it was just like,
Or you're paying, which is even more pathetic to me. That would piss me off the most. If
yeah, you're like,
paying
you're
for this shit,
using our money
yeah,
on this.
I'm going to be
bullshit.
real. That might piss me off more than cheating.
Me too.
Be like, what the
Could
fuck?
have taken me out
That's
to dinner with that money.
disgusting. Yeah. There's so many things. I could have put that money in my face.
Exactly. You're
No.
fired.
But yeah, like I'm just saying in general, I would say if I was to classify it for me and what I would think of, it would be anything behind the back.
Yeah.
Which I guess in some relationships is porn. I guess there are relationships that don't allow that. You were talking
Oh,
about
I know. I think
sex
people
toys, but there are women, a lot of women, I would say.
have
I
a
would
problem
say
with
men
porn.
have more problems with sex toys, and then women, I think, have more problems with porn.
Do you think there are a lot of women out there that have a problem with porn and that their men are hiding it from them? And if so,
Totally.
but if so,
I know for a
what's-
fact. I've
What's
spoken
the
to 2 women around here in our circle
but do
of
they
people
put
we
up
know.
with it, or do they just does the man just not get to?
Oh,
or
I don't know
woman,
the
or
answer to that, but I do know that there
like
are.
what happens if they get caught?
I don't know. I know, right? Like, what do? You punish them? Like,
I
I
know.
don't get
Like,
it.
what's the punishment?
I don't know.
Oh man.
But I do know that does exist.
Porn
that there are
doesn't
people
bother
who-
me. It used me when I was younger because,
Right.
like we were talking about,
It's
when I was
different. It's an
younger, I was
insecurity.
insecure. Yeah, I was
Correct.
like, I compared myself. All of that in itself. I mean, I feel like there's different angles on porn and stuff.
I
That's a
like you
whole
said,
nother
you just
topic.
better not be paying for it.
Yeah, exactly. But like now, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like we all have
Yeah.
sexual fantasies and desires, and it's a safe place to be able to, you know, be okay. Like porn might be a place to do that. I mean, I don't know what kind, but
I
there's
guess
that.
it depends what kind too.
Yeah,
Like,
it
what if
depends
it's
on what
something
kind.
like really crazy?
I know. What if you find out
Ooh.
that your significant other's into like some hardcore shit?
Yeah. I mean, it's again a conversation that needs to be had, I guess, though.
I know.
But yes, I do think that there are many women who are not okay with that. Many, many women who are not
Oh,
okay with it.
why?
I think it's an insecurity thing that just
Yeah.
leads throughout life.
You have to be okay with knowing that you're not going to be someone's everything.
Yeah.
But you say, yeah, but we as a society think once you decide to become a partnership with someone, for example, getting married, that person is supposed to be your everything. They're supposed to be your best friend, the person, if you decide to have children, you're going to raise children with, have babies with, have a household, share all rules, religious, political views, and be that person's sexual everything
Mm-hmm.
for the next forever.
That just gave me a lot of anxiety. That's so true.
Well, it shouldn't be that sort of
No,
pressure.
it shouldn't.
Yeah, to me, logically, like, where did we come up with this sort of rule?
Which
This
is
is it. This
why
one
I think
person's
it's
it.
so important for us to have friendships
Yeah.
and for us to have hobbies and for us to have like all these other things that make you a person.
Mhm.
But it is so easy to get lost, especially I think as a
It's get-
woman.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost within that relationship, right?
Yeah.
You define
And,
your
and
identity
if
by
you add kids, like motherhood.
yeah, and I'm not even
relationship.
talking about just like marriage because there's some people that like will just be together for 20 years. and
Yeah,
then
you
get
still
married.
can
But like
same concept.
your identity is wrapped around being that person's significant other, and I don't know. I just feel like you said, make sure that you're doing other things for yourself. But I want to go zoom way back into societal pressures, which is, what if we were taught there was another way?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, some cultures are.
I know.
Yeah, it is interesting. It really is. I mean, you can go on and on about that all day long, but I
Yeah.
do think that the moral of it all is basically like you said, like you can't be anyone's everything.
Yeah.
Whether it is a friendship, whether it is a
Yeah, I know
relationship,
some toxic friendships out
even
there
your
too.
children. You
Yeah.
can't like
Yeah,
you
that's a good one.
just can't. Like we all need multiple people in our lives, multiple things in our lives, multiple hobbies, multiple like you need multiple sources of like an outlet. You
Yeah.
need multiple sources of happiness. You need multiple sources of all of that.
Yeah, and we're here on planet Earth. There's 1 billion humans.
Yeah.
Like, figure it out.
Yeah. It is. It's hard. It's definitely hard. I think you get especially if you're like more introverted, it's probably very difficult for
Yeah.
you to
You
want
do
to
probably lean on your
open up that side of you to all those other people. But like
Yeah.
it's so true. Like you can't I mean, you could even take it like a step further of not just talking about relationships, even friendships. There are people who have like a
Yes.
best friend and they expect that best friend to be
oof.
everything for
They
them.
want them to be everything. And also,
Yeah.
what happens to like a friendship that just you grow apart and you might have been friends for like 20 years?
Okay.
But you
wait,
fade
wait,
apart.
wait. This is a great concept. Me and John talked about this in the car one day. What if we viewed relationships more like we view friendships? So
Mm.
like it is true, right? We are okay with friendships. Not that we're okay with it. I think we still right. You said before this podcast, you do grieve a friendship when it's
Mm.
done. You're gonna grieve a person. You knew who they were. You knew where they came from. You knew
Yeah.
everything about them, right? Like you're gonna grieve that person. But it does seem more acceptable in society for a friendship to kind of grow apart than a marriage. Like divorce is looked at worse than like a friendship kind of ending. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I grew apart from that person. Where like if you said it about a relationship, people feel like
Oh.
differently.
I know, because we put this huge
Yeah.
price tag on like your marriage, and it has to stay together,
Yeah.
and you can't cheat, you can't do anything wrong. You just have to say like happily married forever. And it's like, okay, but there's so much more to marriage than that. Like
Yeah.
no one really talks about like the struggles within or how to deal or whatever.
And that's part of it too. Like I also think that we have to know I think that the
People
other
just fantasize about getting married and getting a house and being
but I
all
also
cute.
think there's the opposite end of this all, where people are kind of like like love shouldn't be hard at all, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
if it is, like it's not right, like wash everything up and like that's that.
Yeah.
Where I feel like there is an in between, right? Like you do have to work in your marriage still, and there are going to be seasons where it's hard. Like there's
Yeah.
going to be
Oh, yeah.
seasons where one of you loves the other one a little bit more, or one of you is happier than the other one with
Mhm.
yourself. You know, like there's going to be seasons, and
They're
it's
in their
going
own
to play
personal
out.
journeys and stuff
Yeah.
too that you have to like just watch and sit
So I
back.
don't think like it has to be like, you know, yes, I believe that an out should always be an option, but I also think that we should also work a little bit
Oh
towards
yeah,
it
there's
too.
that. Yeah, there's definitely that middle ground. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely there's just different angles of it too. Like some people married and they're like really good with their kids, and so their focus is kind of like on their kids and their marriage, but like they themselves, their relationship might not be the best, but you know, they're
And I think that
happy
could be a
within that.
season also.
Yeah, right, totally. Um, and then yeah, I don't know. I just think that like I think that we come into this world thinking that we're all looking for that one special
Yeah.
person. And why didn't we ever say, hey, you're gonna probably have like 5 to 8 special people in your life, just so you know, like throughout your life from like your 20s to like when you die.
Mm-hmm.
And you might find one that you want to settle with for a long
Long
period of
time,
time,
yeah.
but there's gonna be people before, and there probably be people afterwards, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But like we come into this world fantasizing about that one special person,
Yeah.
and I'm
And
like,
then we want them to
whoa.
be everything because we've
And
been
we want them to be
fantasizing for them for so
everything.
long.
And like there's like Disney movies and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and like shows and movies that project just that. And so think about how many people just keep having failed relationships after failed relationships, and they're still searching for that one special person. And it's more like you said, like sometimes you can go this different angles, but sometimes you pick the love is there, the chemistry's there, you've hit it off, but like okay, your marriage is rocky because now living with that person, building life is crazy, right? The love is there, the chemistry's there, but everything else is rocky, you know? Or you find someone that like maybe like chemistry wasn't like amazing, but you both have the same values, you both have the same needs and wants, and you just get
Fundamentally, it really works well.
yeah, and fundamentally it really works out. So it's just like all different interesting angles. But that also means in either situations and all the other situations that it doesn't mean it's gonna last forever. I want to put that pressure off my kids that
Yeah.
some like being with someone doesn't always last forever. You
It's
have to work at
also-
it. It's not gonna be
Yes.
easy. I'm not
Right.
saying that like just because you didn't like that this person wanted to move here and you're here and that's it. You know, look at everything,
Yeah.
weigh it out, but like
You
I
try to
don't-
make it work as much as you can until
yeah,
it doesn't.
until it doesn't.
On that note, I will say that, you know, the other side of this all is that it's also a depressing thought if you think about it. Like I've always thought this, like literally since I was little. I have always, because I always think of like the negative side of things. And it's like I've always found soulmates to be a super depressing thought. Because
Yeah.
first of all, how is everyone meeting their one soulmate? First. Second of all, if that person dies or that person cheats on you or
Yeah.
that person ends up changing or that person or you get divorced, you're going to tell me you're never going to find love again? Like
I
that's
know.
a shitty concept.
Right.
That's horrible.
yeah.
So I've always believed that. Like I always believe that you're with, you know, like sure, like you may have found a great match.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of your closest perfect matches ever that you could think
Right.
of, right? But like there are other matches out there.
Mhm.
You know, like if something was to happen to me, I tell John all the time, like, you'll find, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be more people.
Yeah.
There's always more people that you will match with.
Yeah.
It would be a different match. It would be a different
yeah.
love. It would be a different everything. But like to think that there's no one else out there
Yeah.
is crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
I like the word match. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, sometimes you match up and sometimes you don't. And you're at different points in your life. And sometimes that person you were with in your 20s, they're perfect for you in your 20s. They were a stepping stone so that you could figure out what you wanted later. And so you dated that person for 5 years, whatever you went to raise. And the next person was someone you were married to for 10 or 15 years, and that didn't work out. Then you meet someone you actually really, 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 really liked and loved in your 50s or something. I mean, there's just so
You never know.
many. You just
Yeah.
never know what
You never know what
how the
life's gonna
story's
throw
going to
at you.
go.
Yeah, you don't.
And that's why you need to have like not have these like crazy expectations. Like just be open.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen. But before a marriage, you have like think about did you ever have someone in your 20s, like a best friend that wanted this elaborate bachelorette party that made you spend so much money on all this shit for it?
So me personally, no, but that's because my friends are like still not married. However, with that being said, I have seen a lot of people I've gone to like high school with
Yeah.
get married and go on elaborate bachelorette parties. I know it's a thing now. I know that
Yeah.
everyone's traveling for it. Um,
Especially
I
with
mean-
like Airbnbs being like a big thing now.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a bachelorette before in my day was like we went out.
Yes,
We went
one
to a
night
few
out.
clubs and like it ended crazy late. I think we crashed at someone's house or got a hotel room or something like
Yeah.
that. But it wasn't like let's fly to like Colorado and spend a weekend Airbnb and go out every night for like 8 days.
Oh yeah.
And get flights and then also like ask these people to spend a lot of money on your bridal shower, on your bridesmaid dress and stuff, and then the wedding gift on top of that. Like
Weddings are expensive to be in. So I'm in a wedding. Oh my God.
sorry, I
I'm in a
burped.
wedding in April. John's brother's getting married.
Okay.
And she has not asked anything outrageous of us at all. However, just the bare minimum
The
is
bare minimum.
expensive, especially when you add in that it's me in the wedding party, John in the wedding party, and our 3 kids are in the wedding party. So
Oh.
we have had to buy, I bought a bridesmaid's
Oh.
dress. The girls have bridesmaid's dresses. John has a tux. Jack has a tux. So that alone,
Where do you buy little men
$1,500.
tuxes?
Oh, that you rent them. They're so cute and little.
Oh, you rent
Oh,
them?
he's gonna look so cute. I'm so excited. Yeah. But they're
Okay.
still expensive. So like all in all, that overall is gonna be like $1,500. Then John had to throw Eric's bachelor party. I was a part of
Yeah.
my sister-in-law's bachelorette party. So that's an expense, especially because we live out of state, so we had to go to them. For them, it wasn't so bad because they all lived there, and she did do it in state, and she kept it very like I said, she was very thoughtful
Yeah, it's
with
not
it.
like she was trying to rob you,
No.
but it's still
We
a
went to the
lot.
beach for the day, and we went out at night, and
Yeah.
but again, yeah, dinner
Getting
adds
there,
up, getting there,
Not working,
For sure.
whatever.
And then she had a bridal shower, she had an engagement party, she had she's gonna have a rehearsal dinner. We're getting up there early for that. So it's like even with what today's standards bare minimum are,
Who
it's a
came
lot.
up with all these? I want them all fired. Okay, let's go through the list. So when you get married, is there like an announcement party?
I think
or-
an engagement party.
An
We did not
engagement-
have one,
Yeah, I didn't have an engagement party.
but
An
a lot of people
engagement
do.
party, and then you have a bachelorette,
Then you have a bridal shower.
a bridal shower.
Yeah, that I
then-
did have.
Then a bachelorette.
Then you'd have a bachelorette party.
Then the wedding.
Then you'd have a rehearsal dinner,
Oh, then the rehearsal dinner. Then
which
the
I
wedding.
also did not have, and then the wedding.
5 things.
5 things.
Who came up with this?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know. And
Who
you know
has
what's
money
funny?
for all this?
I love a good celebration. Okay,
Yeah, me too.
am all
I'll show
for
up for the
a
wedding.
good party. But like, yeah, it is a lot. It's funny though, even the bachelorette parties and
You
the
could
bachelor
took
parties.
all that money and invested it into something else.
Yeah, and people are like, what you're describing going to Colorado is nothing. I have seen people plan trips to the Caribbean. For a week. I've seen people go to Europe.
I mean, are they buying everyone
No,
They're just expecting the
I
bridal
will say
party to
this.
do it.
I think there's
And-
a big difference between so like like I said, my friends aren't married yet, right? So like the older we get, the more elaborate I can see that being. Like, let's say my friend Jenny or whatever was like, let's go to freaking Bahamas for like a week. At this age, for me, it would be like such a fun getaway that I'd be
I
like
know.
totally down. It'd be like a girl's trip to me. So it's
Yeah.
like, fine, okay, cool. However, I will say, I think I think it's okay to initiate that plan if that's what you want to do. But I think if you're the bride, you have to go into it not expecting, being okay with anyone who doesn't come. Like, you cannot expect your whole
Fine, but
bridal
your
party to
friends
be
are
there.
gonna feel. I know that. I think one of my things that my friends did, they went to like Mexico or something, but I couldn't afford to go.
Yeah.
It was the time, but everyone else went, and it was really.
I know,
shitty.
it does suck.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Like you put these big plans out there, and the few that can do it can do it.
I guess
I
it's
kinda
like
feel bad
planning a
for the
girl's
one-
trip.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you-
usually people push themselves to do stuff they can't do. Like
Yeah, that's true. You're going to feel a little bit more pressed to do it because you're in the bridal party. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't know. I mean, I would love a getaway too, but
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, for my bachelorette party, we were young. So, like, I don't know what it would look like today, but we did and it was really nice and it was fun. We went to, it was on Long Island still. But we went to it was like 40 minutes from us and we went there and we went to the beach all day long and we got a hotel room that was right on the beach and we stayed for like one night.
yeah,
And we went out to the bars at night
Yeah,
and hung
that
out.
seems
And it was fun.
seems doable and fun. isn't it fucking weird that like we put all those 5 things up to this big moment where you get married to someone and then can probably get divorced a year later?
Yeah.
Where is the celebration between like
I
freaking
know.
hanging in there for like 10 or 15 years? That's when you should have a goddamn wedding and a celebration. It's like,
Yes.
we've made it through everything. Let's go.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I would like party. I'm like, oh
yeah,
my
the
God.
getting engaged part was easy. Call me
Yeah,
in
but,
15
like,
years.
You're putting all this like time, effort, and money and energy over something that hasn't been successful yet.
Yeah. I know a few people who got divorced or I guess annulled within months
Yeah.
of getting married.
Or like didn't show up or probably something to the wedding.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
I know.
But you're totally right. Maybe we should change our mindset if we want to celebrate, right? We still want
Yeah.
to do fun things and shift that to like it being more common to have a 10, a 20-year, like big freaking.
Celebration.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to do with marriage either. It's like, what if you're like in your 40s, you never got married, but like your shit's on point. You know what I mean? Like
Just
you
celebrate.
have your career, you have your friends, you
Yeah.
have the life that you want, and you have like a celebration of life or something. Like, why is it
I want
always
a
for
big
these
40th
little
birthday party, by the
young
way.
getting married shit, huh?
Said I want a big 40th birthday celebration,
Oh
by the
dear.
way.
I better get on the ball.
Speaking of so,
I know.
I'll give you
It's like a billion years from now, by the way.
what, 7 years? I'll give you 7 years to plan.
I'll forget. That's be like a year before.
Okay.
And you'll tell me everything you want anyway.
I'll tell you everything.
You're the Miss Events person. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that's kind of a crock to like
It
put
is a
all this
lot.
pressure, time, energy, money, and effort before you even did anything.
I'll tell you
Like,
this.
why the fuck are you getting this like all this shit? You didn't do shit. You just showed up and you expect to have this fairy tale
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Sorry, you didn't do anything. I'm not gonna give you a wedding present.
Oh my God. You're going opposite now. You're like,
I'm just
fuck
kidding.
everyone getting married.
Yeah, like why am I giving you a wedding present? Like,
No.
good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about talk to me in
Or
10
like
years?
just the wedding then. Why are we giving like engagement
like,
party
I showed
presents?
up. That should
Engagement
be
party
enough.
presents?
That should be enough.
Shit. Here's a picture frame. Fill it. I don't know.
I know.
I'm telling you.
Here's some candy.
On that note of things, I feel like I definitely agree with that. I never thought of it before, but I think that if we're going to celebrate, we need to be celebrating after.
The fact, like, I don't know, like when you hit 35, like a point in your life where you're like, I accomplished like 6 years of raising kids, whatever. Let's party.
Yeah.
I've
That's
accomplished,
where it gets hard. Yeah.
you know, 10 years working at my dream job and I've climbed the ladder and I'm here at this executive position. Or I've accomplished, 15 years with my significant other and hey, we're still doing good. I don't know, things like that.
Let me tell you this. If I was to go back, and I know you didn't do this, but like I had a pretty big wedding. Like a standardly big wedding. Nothing crazy, but definitely like not small. I would nix it and I would have eloped.
Yeah. I know a lot of people thought that I was going to regret not having a wedding, not having wedding pictures and like a white dress and the traditional whatever. I had like a sundress on, but I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
It was already stressful just to like have our immediate family come down and then walk
Yes.
down to the bluff and do our little
And
vows
let me
and take
tell
pictures.
you-
And I can't even imagine that at escalated like level. I would have lost my shit. It's
Yeah.
so stressful. I'm so happy I did it the way I did.
And I
All
wasn't
we did
even
was go out to
stressed.
dinner
Like I was not
afterwards.
stressed about our wedding at all. Honestly, we were buying a house at the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to be knocked up very soon after that, like with our
Yeah.
second, because we already had our first. I was like, I want to like be pregnant. I want to have our house. Like I want to just move and like do all these things. So like I wasn't even stressed about our wedding, and
Yeah.
it still was like a stressful event. Like I
Yeah.
could see how people who are like really into it
And
get
also
stressed
just like
out.
a money sucker too.
Such a money sucker. And let me tell you
But
now,
I guess it provides a lot of people jobs.
yeah. And listen, it's fun. Like I don't regret what we did. Like I
Yeah.
don't.
I like going to other people's weddings. Don't get me
Yes,
wrong.
they are
I just
so
didn't
fun.
want it. I must have missed the bride Jean. I never wanted to see myself in this like big, like
Wedding
white
dress?
dress or wedding dress. And people are like, should have done like black or red. I'm like, no, I could see that. Like you've done weddings where it's
Yeah.
like different theme. Maybe I could have done like Halloween or something like that. But it still, in the end, I didn't want to like get all dressed up and have everyone around me like be looking at me and us celebrating. Like I don't know, you try to pile all your favorite people in one room. That's stressful.
Okay, no. I'm going to tell you what's stressful. It's piling the people you don't give a fuck in the room.
Who
that
does
pisses
that?
me off. Everybody. Because when you're getting married, especially if you get married younger, you have an obligation to have family members there and this and that. We had like a certain amount of people that we could have. And like, there is a pressure, especially when you come from like a big family and stuff, to have all these families and friends and stuff
Ugh.
where like you can't even invite some of the people that you want to be there.
Back to having your party later in the game
Yes.
when you have your life,
Yeah.
going and you've made friends
I'm
and they're
sorry.
not the ones from high school. How many of your people were like in your wedding that you're like no longer friends with anymore? And you like have this picture on your wall of like your friends in your wedding?
For me, none, but for John, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely
weird,
some.
right?
Yeah.
That's
But I
weird.
think that's any stage of life, that part. Like, I think you could always have like these pictures of like people that don't exist anymore. But I will say, I definitely think a lot of people have to have people come to their wedding that they would not have invited themselves.
Yeah.
And they have to nix out people that they would have invited because of that. Like, because there's an obligation to have your second cousin there. Because how are you not going to invite
It's
your
another
family?
weird tradition. This
Yeah.
whole thing is another weird thing that we've like decided what everyone has to do.
Yes. Yes.
Everyone gets married and has a big wedding or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't regret the wedding. We had a great time. I had a beautiful wedding. It was not stressful for me. There wasn't even an ounce of stress in me. Like, I didn't give a crap about any of it, and it all came together so well, and we had a great time. My biggest goal when we got married is I want it to be a party. I want it to be fun. All I cared about was, like, is everyone dancing? That was my gear of, like, how much fun people were having. If the dance floor was empty, I was going to be sad because I want people partying. That's all I cared
You
about.
wanted them to
I
have
didn't care
fun.
about like how everything functioned behind the scenes or like
Yeah.
were the flowers right. I didn't even get
I
flowers.
think
I
I
got
would have
weeds.
been I would have been worried if people were all like having fun.
Yeah, it literally just cared about. If
But I
people were
don't
having
want to
fun.
control that either. Like that's not my job. Like you're either a fun person or you're not.
Yeah, totally. But I think that the vibe and the atmosphere
Yeah.
can make it fun. So I wanted good music. I wanted the food to taste good, and that was really all I cared
Speaking
about.
of big parties, I don't get on TikTok too much, but only one thing popped up when I did when I was at my parents' house for Easter, and it was like
Mhm.
shit going down with like P. Diddy or something.
Oh, I know nothing about it.
Oh my God, Dana, you always know about everything.
Something with a little girl.
I know something that Dana doesn't
I
know
know.
on TikTok.
So I was so uninterested in it, I guess. I was so down. I
Oh.
know that I saw like it very briefly pop up a couple times and I never fully watched it.
There's like a big dark rabbit hole you can go down
It's
in
with
the
kids,
dark
right?
Hollywood.
It's about with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have been watching the Nickelodeon. I started
God,
watching
I don't know
it
if I can even watch that. What is that about?
After Dark or Outside Outlight, whatever. It's about how Dan Schneider. Did we talk about this?
I don't know.
Dan Schneider, the guy who created like all these big Nickelodeon shows, like all that, and like Victorious and
Yeah.
all these shows. He was like a creep. And like a lot of these kids are now in their 30s and they're like, it was so inappropriate. And like when you watch back the stuff that they had, if you watch it now as an adult, like you'll see like he has like lotion squirt on some girl's face at one point.
Oh, I
and
think you did.
I
Bring
think
this
we
up.
talked about it. So like it was kind of along those lines, all those allegations. And now I've heard of that kind of wrapped up in it. Like
That's
it's
what I
with
mean.
kids,
Like, I
right?
think you
Do
can
you
go
know
down this-
about it or no?
Not really. I just feel like you can go down this rabbit hole of like
Hollywood's a weird place.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's zoom out from even what I know. When people would say, but then why would they do that? I'm like, I think people with a lot of like money and fame and stuff do weird shit, man. Like all of a sudden nothing satisfies you
It's
anymore.
that feeling of what you can get away with, like I was talking about
Yeah.
before. It's not even the action probably as much
Yeah.
as the what can I
What
get
can
away
I
with?
get away
It's
with?
a
How can I
power.
make this person do this?
Yeah, it's a
that's
power.
totally inappropriate.
Yeah.
Just because I can, and just because I'll give him 10 grand for it or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So anyway, I don't know. I guess there's like stuff between him and Bieber, Justin Bieber, and like there's accusations that were
Okay.
made there. And then I think another guy back in like who was probably like an 80s or 90s
Didn't he
star was
adopt
like
some kid too? And there was like allegations
yes,
there.
some girl.
Yeah.
I saw that clip and that's where it all happened. And then
Creeps.
like some other guy back that was like a 90s kid or something or an 80s kid was saying like how everyone was trying to be on like Michael Jackson's case, but he was actually protecting the kids. That's why it was Never Neverland or something.
Mm.
Protecting him from like the darker side of Hollywood. And he'd be like, "Oh, come hang out with me." And they think that whatever the dark Hollywood is what killed like Michael Jackson because he was like helping the kids.
Oh, Hollywood's definitely a dark place. It's
Yeah.
a whole nother society of like secrets and lies and money and power.
yeah.
And none of that goes
Like
well
Diddy
together.
has like these freak out parties or something where there's like, I don't know, maybe like kids and stuff.
It's funny. Everyone thinks they want fame until I think you really have it. And then it's probably
It
a
freaks
really
me out. It makes me think that I never, ever, ever want my kids to be famous. if that's all true, I never knew that even like happened with like,
Oh,
fame.
I remember my dad when I was little. I used to love like acting and singing,
Yeah.
and I love being the center of attention,
Yeah,
as
you
you
wanted to
know.
be
And I used to always
a
think I'm going to
singer.
be famous one day.
Yeah.
Like I am definitely going to be famous. Like I used to always
But
talk
here
about
we
it.
are. We're surrounded
And
by
I'm not.
cameras.
This is as close as it's getting. But my dad used to always be like, I'll never let you.
yeah.
Like if you're living under my roof, like even if you had the opportunity, and I used to like fight with him, I'd be like, what? Even though never was happening, it's not like I had an agent that
But
was after me.
still,
But I used to be like, what do you
crushed
mean?
your
What do you? And
bubble.
he's like, he used to always say that, like it is so dark, and there's so much negativity that comes with that, and I never understood it. And like now looking into it all, like I'm like I see it. Like I don't know if I'd want it for my kids either. It's like you have no private, even without the darkness, right? Even without the creeps, even without the money, even without the power.
Yeah.
You have no privacy whatsoever. You can't go anywhere
Well,
without
Megan
everyone
Fox
knowing your
says that she
shit.
wouldn't trade it all in though.
She does, yeah. And then, you have all these different things that are happening, and then you add in like the other side of it, and it could be
I
really
don't know how these
scary.
parents are like leaving their kids alone. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna fight to be like that weird mom.
Because if you
next to
fight
my
too hard,
child.
then you can go away. Your kid doesn't matter.
Fine, we'll go away though.
I know, but I'm saying, think about if you were a parent
wanted
and
that
your
thing,
kid
yeah.
wanted it so bad and you wanted it so bad for them. Or maybe a lot of those kids are putting food on their parents' table. I mean, if you're thinking
Yeah.
realistically. So it's like there might be a pressure there on the parents' side, and they might think everything's fine. Like there's all these people around, you're trusting it. Like everything
Ugh,
seems
I
great when
trust
they're
nothing.
around, like. So, I mean, I don't know that I agree. I would never leave my kid either, but I can see the mindset if it's something that you and your kid want so bad
Yeah.
that you're like, okay.
Well,
like,
when I was watching that, Trevor goes, "Oh God, well, did you hear about that? The YouTubers, that mom that like
yeah, Ruby Frank.
what? No." I'm like, I can't even.
Yeah. So Ruby Frank had like 8 kids or something, 6 kids. I don't know, whatever. A big family. And she was a famous YouTuber.
With a husband? Like,
Yeah.
is there's okay.
Yep. She was a famous YouTuber. And I mean, I never watched her, so I don't know what it was
Yeah.
like when she was on YouTube and stuff, but they were a huge famous YouTube family and they made a ton of money from it. And she, I guess, always put up like all these things of them doing fun things and this and that. But I guess there was a lot of allegations that behind the scenes there was a lot of abuse happening. And
It's so sad.
one day the little boy ran to a neighbor's house and he was like, you need to go in there, like, and they found like handcuffs and ties to the bed, and the kids were abused, and it was terrible, like terrible. And she has like no remorse. It's weird. Like her interviews, like she is flat. Like, but that's another scenario. Like they had family. There was a husband. There was they had aunts and uncles, and everyone was just like, oh, well, we knew she was like hardcore, but like we didn't know. And I'm like, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's horrible. And you're going to see more and more of that come out. The more of these like family accounts, I think you'll see a lot of that.
Well, Trevor was telling me that I'm like, why is this all coming out with like P. Diddy? He was like, because then he's like, back in like those days, like the TikTok and like, social media wasn't like big then. So you could have these freaky parties
Yep.
and no one was
will know.
recording it.
No one will know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one would know what was going down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But apparently he did have a camera in every room, and he has big celebrities that have done crazy things with like other people, and apparently he has
I
it
mean,
all filmed.
When you think
and
about
might
it,
all come out.
people are fucked up, right? No matter how much money, power, whatever you
Yeah.
have. So if you view everything as like groupings of people, there are just as many fucked up people, I'm sure, in normal society.
Yeah.
But when you add that money and power, it's like a whole nother dimension. They get
Yes.
to get away with it so much
Yeah.
more.
He was like arguing with me like about what was it, like the Epstein thing. I remember when that was all happening, like I went down that rabbit hole, and he's like, and I'm like, I think there's so much crazy shit going on out there we just don't know about. He's like, but why? Why would someone do that? I'm like, money, like fame, greed, power. And he's like, no one would do those heinous things for power. I'm like, you'd be surprised. I think people would,
Mm-hmm.
because people are fucked up sometimes.
Well, it's the same reason why would someone do it on the street? I mean,
Right.
it's the same concept. It's just you're adding the money and the power to it.
Mhm.
And I also think that there is as far as bystanders, they've done studies on this. They have shown that people think they would act a certain way. Like you ask them, oh, how would you react if you saw this happening to someone on the street? And people are like, oh, I would do this, I would do that. Then they do it undercover, and so many people turn their cheek. So many people turn a blind eye.
Wow.
And it's like there is a feeling of not wanting to be wrong about your allegations. There's a feeling of wanting to fit into society. There's a
Yeah.
feeling of not wanting what is the like a confrontation.
Yeah.
So I think that you take those like small scale things and you put it onto like a bigger thing. And I think that in Hollywood, there's probably a lot of people that don't want to be outed, that don't want to be, your whole mindset could change.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that like P. Diddy has like this crazy like bodyguard or whatever, and he'd make things go away. Like the shooting that like him and J-Lo were involved with just went away.
Yeah.
No one got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know like how far they can get away with things, and like that makes me think that
Probably
like
pretty far.
I
If they're
know
funding everything.
if they're paying
Probably
for
pretty
everything.
far.
Corruption. I know
Yeah.
people like think that I'm being what is it?
Conspiracy.
Yes, all of a sudden if you link the word corruption, all of a sudden it's conspiracy theory and oh none of that exists and stuff because they want you who are there to feel like you're crazy, and that's why it never like comes up. That's why
Yeah.
people don't know because they're like, oh, it's conspiracy theory or whatever, and you're like, no, like there could be crazy shit going on out there, and if you have enough money, you can cover anything up.
Yeah, totally. And it's been shown time and time again.
Ugh.
Even I mean, there's even been like murders and things
Yeah.
and stuff with like law enforcement and like
Yeah.
people get away with things and there's like a camaraderie and there's a I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying that all of Hollywood's bad, all of this is bad,
Right.
all there's
Obviously.
good and there's bad in all of it.
Yeah.
However, I think that when you add power or you add money, things can get covered up much easier. And things can be more accepted. And bystanders will turn a blind eye.
They were also like even Billie Eilish was on Howard Stern, and she said like one of her songs was about like statutory rape and stuff. And she's like, I mean, I'm not going to tell my stuff. She's like, because I didn't want people to know. I don't want to be like
Yeah.
she says she doesn't want that attention and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, or for people to think she was lying, or like all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
Like, and she's
Yeah.
like a superstar,
And that
she feels
happens
that way.
on the small scale
I
all the
know.
time, but when you're on the larger
Yeah.
scale, it's just a
And it's
bigger
so
thing.
weird that we look at that and we think it's glamorous. And
Yeah.
everyone wants to be
Because we see the
famous.
positives,
Yeah.
you know? Like you said, there are I mean, everything's gonna have positives to it, but it's all gonna come with negatives.
Okay.
You like sell your soul to
Yes.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh no, I just couldn't do that.
Well, good thing we're both not there.
Not selling my soul for shit. I like my soul.
Damn. Okay, well on that, we have what is it called coming up?
Huh? Oh, with the
Yes.
face?
We have
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
I'm like with the face.
I was like, in the next couple episodes, we are gonna go to a med spa.
yeah.
And we're gonna get hydrofacials done, which you've never done, right?
No, have you?
No. But I was told that it's a red carpet glow. So it's the closest to Hollywood we're gonna get. We're gonna feel like we're on the red carpet. Apparently you
Yeah,
do
that'll be
it
exciting
right
to like
beforehand.
talk about it.
Yeah. We're gonna
I'm
go
sort
into
of
like
worried it's gonna
all
like.
of it.
Is it cold?
I don't know.
What if it hurts?
I know
I'm
nothing
a big
about it.
baby about everything.
But we'll come in with an honest review.
Okay.
So we'll come in with an honest review. We're gonna talk to the estheticians and we're gonna like get the
Yeah.
behind the scenes of it and like the knowledge behind it.
Yeah.
And like I want to ask them things like, what would you suggest for like for my skin, I have like, some like spotting from like sunspots and like pores. I want to ask like those types of
Yeah.
questions and like what kind of like skin texture you might have. Like what
Yeah, I
do
just
you
feel like it's old.
how do you
No.
fix this old
It's
skin?
dull, and I see people with like these
Yeah,
dewy,
I want
luminous
dewy.
skin.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. So so I mean, like, let us know if there's questions that you would want to ask an
Yeah.
esthetician because I am really excited. Actually,
Yeah, we're excited to try
Yeah.
this little adventure.
yeah, we're gonna see what it's like,
You're gonna
and
see.
I'm excited
everything.
I'm excited to get like a behind the scenes view of it all because I think it's something that a lot of our audience, which is predominantly
Yeah.
kind of our age and
And
females,
some of you might already be getting hydrofacials, but like, do you know why?
Right.
And like, is there something better than a hydrofacial, or
Right.
are you doing fillers and Botoxes and the lighting stuff, or getting the what was it, they puncture you with that stuff?
So that was
and
something interesting.
would you be better off doing a hydrofacial other than all the other shit you're doing? So like, we're trying to because I know every woman wants to know this like I feel like almost every woman's doing some sort of skincare.
I want to know
So-
from these people that are like professionals in the
Yeah.
industry, if you could only choose one
Yes.
thing to do, what would it be? And I know
Yeah.
that that's hard. When I was
And,
talking
well,
to
everyone's
the
different, but, like, with
director
their
of the med
ages
spa,
and stuff, but
we were saying, the director was saying to me, like, it is funny. Everyone takes their money and focuses on filler and Botox.
Yep.
But if you don't have a skincare regimen behind that, if you're not getting these facials done, then it's not going to make you, yeah, you'll get rid of some wrinkles, but
Yeah.
it's not going to make that skin you're looking
Yeah.
for. People go into Botox thinking about a face that's like wrinkle free, but also you're picturing that dewiness, you're picturing that moistened look, you're picturing the anti-aging, and these facials are how you get it. It's not the Botox. So it's interesting.
Yeah, you do need to know the whole recipe. It's kind of like if you're like maybe on a weight loss journey. Like,
Yeah.
you also have to work out. Like you can't just
Right.
starve yourself or take the magic pill or whatever it is. You probably should eventually start stretching, start moving your body, start
Right.
adding muscle mass if you like lose
It's a
it.
whole thing. And I
Yeah,
do
so same
get
thing
it
with
because
face care. Like you can't just do the quick fixes and
Totally.
expect it all to be right.
and I get it because it all comes at an expense. Like I was like,
Or
well,
in
I
time.
don't have that
Actually,
much money.
mine's time because I got 2 gift cards to one of our little with like that Whisper Creek place.
Yeah.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 to get like a facial massage. I haven't been able to book it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's definitely time and money. And so I
'Cause of my time.
actually definitely want to ask that question though, because I think for a lot of people it's money. Like
Yeah,
I can't
first
afford
money and then time.
Botox, filler, and facials. So I just choose what's going to
me
make the biggest difference
too,
to me
me too.
quickest.
Yeah.
However, I would love to ask them, and I wonder if they would like give us this answer, but I want to know like if we didn't have the money to do this, what are some at-home things you would suggest? What are some more affordable services that we can get?
Yeah. What are the most affordable services? And like you start with like this one. And then if you have more, you do this one.
Yeah.
And then if you have a little bit more, do this one. And then once every 6 months, you need to be doing this.
Right.
Once every 2-3 months. Like, why
Yeah.
don't we just get like a retainer and start doing something monthly?
Yeah, that's great.
I know.
I love
like
that.
this month is hydrofacial.
Yeah.
Next month, you're going to get your Botox and you wait like 6 months because we're going to do something else that's going to hold it off a little longer.
Right.
Like you're going to
How
get
can
a
we make our
facial.
services last as long as
Yeah.
possible? Okay, I think we have some good questions.
I know. I'm ready.
But
Where's
let us
this
know if you
bitch?
have any
Let's go.
more. And on that, we are done.
We're done. All right, you guys.
This is Not Your Mom's Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can see a new episode posted every Monday.
Wish us good luck on that facial thing.
I'm excited.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to follow and subscribe so you can tune in next week.